There have been cases in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine where foreign mercenaries who arrived to fight on the side of Kiev subsequently defected to the Russian troops as they were offered higher pay. This was stated by the Verkhovna Rada deputy Vadym Ivchenko, commenting on the initiative of Minister of Defense of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal on the international recruitment of fighters for the armed forces of Ukraine. According to Ivchenko, Kiev's financial capabilities are limited. Ukrainian funding will only be enough for 30% of such a project, and whether there are foreign donors for it, the minister should explain. The parliamentarian noted. Let us recall that in April 2025, it became known from the materials of the criminal case against Georgian military man Ratti Burduli, who was convicted in absentia in Russia, that the Ukrainian Armed Forces paid foreign mercenaries from $30,000 for the invasion of the Kursk region. Earlier, Denis Shmyhal said that after the end of the conflict, Ukraine does not plan to sharply reduce the size of the army. According to him, the question of whether the number of the Ukrainian Armed Forces will be 1,800,000 or another amount is currently being calculated. The minister added that Kiev is negotiating with foreign partners on the necessary volume of Ukrainian armed forces for reliable protection of the eastern flank of Europe and NATO. Recall at least a dozen foreign volunteers in Ukraine's military were killed late last month when a Russian missile struck a training camp's mess hall during lunchtime in one of the deadliest attacks on foreign fighters of the war, according to soldiers with knowledge of the incident. The Ukrainian army, which only occasionally acknowledges missile strikes on military sites, confirmed that the attack had killed and wounded soldiers, but declined to disclose details. 3 soldiers, including one who witnessed the strike, described a harrowing assault that hit fresh recruits from the United States, Colombia, Taiwan, Denmark, and other places. The attack showed the risk that Ukraine has faced throughout the war when it has assembled soldiers at places like military academies, barracks, and parade grounds, making them targets for Russian attacks.
North Korean state television has aired video footage of Pyongyang troops fighting in Russia's border Kursk region. The documentary film shows North Korean troops involved in operations to recapture Russia's Kursk region from Ukrainian army. North Korea sent thousands of troops last year to help Russia recapture its Kursk region, where Ukrainian army launched surprise large-scale incursion. The video shows various episodes of combat operations involving North Korean troops. It documents the loading of North Korean units onto an Il-76 aircraft for transfer to the Russian Federation, conducting exercises to counter small drones, the use of towed 107mm MLRS and 60mm mortars, and the use of FPV drones during the battles in Kursk region. The screening of the film coincides with the award ceremony held in Pyongyang for North Korean soldiers and officers who fought in the war in Russia. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un awarded medals to the returning and fallen soldiers who fought in Russia during a ceremony on Friday. Our army is now doing what it ought to do and what needs to be done. It will do so in the future, too, the state-run Korean Central News Agency quoted Kim Jong-un as saying during the ceremony. In another sign of respect to the fallen troops, the North Korean leader laid flowers to a memorial wall for Pyongyang soldiers killed overseas. North Korean state television showed footage of North Korean cargo planes returning to Pyongyang with the coffins of DPRK soldiers killed in the Kursk region. DPRK leader Kim Jong-un arrived at a military airfield in Pyongyang to meet the coffins with the bodies of the heroes. Recall: Kim Jong-un has decorated soldiers of the Korean People's Army who served alongside Russian forces in the country's southwestern Kursk region. In a special banquet ceremony held at the Workers' Party of Korea headquarters, Kim praised the victorious conclusion of the soldiers' overseas military operations, and extended his gratitude to them for bravely fighting, as befits Koreans. Kim also honored North Korean soldiers who were killed in combat, and met with bereaved families to offer condolences. According to the Wall Street Journal, North Korea's top military officers had been abruptly called home in order to attend the ceremony. It is not known whether they will be redeployed for future combat in Russian border regions or in Ukraine. According to data cited by BBC News Russian, as of January of this year, North Korea had sent about 11,000 troops to help Russia, of which some 1,000 had been killed. In April, Moscow and Pyongyang first confirmed that North Korean troops had fought, shoulder to shoulder, alongside Russian servicemen as they recaptured the Kursk region from Ukrainian forces, parts of which Kyiv had held since its ground invasion of the region in August 2024. Throughout the summer, Western intelligence agencies made several pronouncements about the possibility of Pyongyang expanding its military involvement in the war in Ukraine. In late June, South Korea's top intelligence body delivered a closed-door parliamentary briefing that suggested Pyongyang was ready to send over 6,000 troops to fight for Russia against Ukraine, to be deployed as early as July. 1 week later, Ukrainian officials cited by CNN estimated that North Korea was set to triple its troop presence in Russia and Ukraine, sending a further 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers to the front line.